has already wrapped up the regular season. It doesn't seem that long ago we were at crossover at Kinnick, and now, here we are getting ready for the Big Ten tournament. Very excited to have the double bye, and that we'll be playing the winner of Wisconsin versus Penn State on Friday night. This tournament concerns me a little bit just because how consolidated it is. For example, our game's at 5:30 on Friday, and if we would win, that game's at like 3:30 on Saturday, and if we would win, that game's at 11 o'clock on Sunday, but that's 10 o'clock because of daylight savings time. We've played some early games, but never a 10 o'clock game. So that's going to be interesting. Both teams obviously will be in the same boat, but we just hope to make it there. I am concerned just for all the players' safety about it being so consolidated with the times of this tournament. But first things first is the Wisconsin versus Penn State game. We're 3-0 against both those teams. We'll prepare for them. At this time of year, you really know your scouts. I mean, you know your opponents pretty well. And you don't have much time to work on your scout. It really has to become more mental scout than anything else. Also, obviously, want to congratulate Caitlin on being the 3-time Player of the Year. That's an amazing accomplishment. And also for Hannah Stolke and Kate Martin to be second team All Big Ten. The only one I was a little disappointed with, I thought Sid would get 6th Player of the Year. I thought she was very deserving of that. I'm disappointed with that one, but at the same time, very happy with the 3 women that we had recognized.
Can you tell us more about Molly's situation?
Well, I'm not sure how much I can get into it, but basically it's not a torn ACL, and it will not require surgery. But has she been in here? Did she talk to anybody yet or anything? Okay. I just have to be careful because of medically things you're not supposed to talk too much about. So I'll just have to say it was a knee injury, but it wasn't a ligament damage. We'll say that. It's not going to require surgery, but she will not be able to play this week.
You said last night it was a kneecap. So
yeah.
Something involved in that. Okay.
Go ahead. I was just say how she's been since Sunday.
I haven't even seen her. I've only talked to her on the phone.
Okay.
We have our first practice today. But I've only spoken with her on the phone, and she was ecstatic that it wasn't an ACL.
Caitlin mentioned on Sunday that, when Molly goes down like that, obviously it's tough to see, but it kind of, as a player, gives you a boost of energy. You want to go win the game for Molly. Is it kind of similar when the team finds out that she's not done for the season? Is that kind of another boost of energy in a different way?
Yeah. Boy, I wish I could say it was a boost of energy for me on Sunday, and it wasn't. You see your players get hurt. It's gut-wrenching to me, and it just, I'm kind of, my head is spinning at that point, trying to think of, long-term consequences for that, not just that singular game. So, but certainly we were everybody is so excited on our team, when they heard that news. And nobody, not just because she, hopefully will return for the NCAA tournament, but also that she doesn't have to go through surgery and go through that rehab.
Does that probably mean Sid moves into the starting lineup and probably Kylie and
Taylor
move up?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah.
Was Molly planning to keep playing after she left here?
I think that Molly was a person that would like to play,
Okay.
but it's not as easy for her position to get something overseas.
Gotcha. I didn't know if this was, she was debating on, these being the last games of her life in a way that kind of adds another wrinkle to the whole thing.
Yeah, you're right, it does.
You guys have had a lot of success recently in the month of March, specifically the Big Ten tournament. Is there a reason for that? You always say that your teams play the best towards the end of the season. Do you feel like there's kind of something that sticks out about why you guys play so well at this time of year?
No, I'm not sure. I feel like, they feel good about it, right? And if you feel good about something, it usually helps you, right? Mentally, if you think you can do it and you've done it before and you can, use that memory, I think it just helps you psychologically.
In the month of March last year, Gabby Marshall shot 41% from 3. She really provided an extra spark. Mm-hmm. When she's hitting shots, what does that do for your team?
It's totally different, and she's made 4 threes in the past 2 games each, and so she's shooting the ball really well right now. But Molly provides us more. Obviously, she provides defense for us, but when she hits like that, you know, it just takes the pressure off of Caitlin. It opens up inside for Hannah and our centers, and so it just makes us so much harder to guard.
How important in the last couple of years? I mean, 2 years ago you get the win over Michigan here. Last year you get the win over Indiana. Now you get the win over Ohio State. How big are those, you know, regular season huge wins propelling you into the Big Ten tournament?
Thankful that we've had those games at home. You know, I mean, in our environment, and I think we use our environment really well, you know, to propel us and to give us confidence in those situations. And I think when you can win games like that against really good competition at the end of the year, it makes you realize, yeah, you can beat anybody in the Big Ten.
So the Kelsey Plum thing, Lynette Woodard, Pete Maravich, all that stuff's behind now.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, now honestly, was there a little bit of a distraction with that? Is it good to have that all over?
You know, I honestly think her biggest distraction was not that, but making this decision whether to come back or whether to go. I think that's what she struggled with more. You can ask her about that. You know, I feel like everybody knew she was going to get the record. It was just a matter of when, not if. And so the distractions, though, on Sunday were plenty, obviously with, you know, game time here, and then, you know, kind of the star power that was in the gym, and being able to see, you know, the team met Maya Moore before practice, and before the game, and I'm kind of like, oh, geez, let's get our head focused again. But they did a great job of it, even with all the distractions there.
You've talked about how all the experiences of this season, the crowds, the environments, and everything is going to make a big difference this time of year when it's time to transition into that postseason mode. Even for players like Sid and Hannah, who were on the team last year, but their roles are much bigger now. I mean, how much do you kind of feel like the transition into March is going to be relatively smooth from a mental standpoint, just based on, you know, you kind of been playing tournament games all year in a way?
I'm hoping that it's going to serve us well. The environments that we've played in have been hostile. They've been pressure situations. There's been, you know, they've been packed to the gills and a lot of distractions. And so every game has kind of felt like a mini NCAA tournament game for us. And I think that having that experience over and over again will serve us well as we, you know, compete in the tournament.
I know you're thinking one game at a time, but, you know, if you guys were to win this tournament 3 in a row, Maryland did it a few years ago, Ohio State in the early 2010s. Would that solidify this era of your team, you think, to win 3 Big Ten championships in a row?
I mean, I think winning 3 Big Ten championships in a row would be tremendous. Is it the only thing that's going to solidify their place in history? I don't think so. I think that they've already done that with the attention that they've brought to this team, with the crossover, with, you know, the national championship game last year. So, yes, we want to win 3 games in 3 days and win the championship, but I don't think it's the end all either.
You
What
said
is
that
your-
Go ahead, Sue.
Thank you. What's this week like? What days are you practicing? When do you go up? Do you sort of practice at full bore now, or do you take your foot off the gas because you got possibly 3 games in 3 days?
Yeah, we definitely are not practicing as hard now as we were, say, in October, November, and December, just because the team is a little bit more tired, and you're really not, you know, again, right now, like, I don't even know what scout to prepare for. And so I'm kind of preparing for multiple teams in these practices. But we took yesterday off, and we're going to practice today, and I'm actually taking tomorrow off. That's what we typically do, is take the day two days prior to the game off. And so I'm trying to keep that normal. So then we'll practice Thursday, travel to Minnesota, and watch the 5:30 game of Wisconsin versus Penn State. We'll be in the arena, get a feel for it, watch them live, and then head back to the hotel and start our scout and our meetings.
What do you remember about Penn State?
I remember they drew a lot of fouls. I remember, what was it, 58 fouls in the fourth quarter, some crazy number like that. It was not, or 58 foul shots, I believe. I mean, it was nuts. So I just remember that. And I obviously know about Wusu and their press, and, you know, Marissa's a great 3-point shooter. So, I mean, they're a good team.
You said you can't believe you're all right at this point, but you've been playing, you know, since the crossover. That's been almost 5 months now. It's a long season, and how has this team been able to, for the most part, stay up all the time? You're 26-4.
Jeff, I'll even take it a step farther back in that we had our foreign trip.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had 10 extra practices before our foreign trip, and then we're gone for 2 weeks, and then they come back and start school. And so, I mean, it's been a long season, as you say. And I think, you know, when you love what you do and you love the people that you're around, it's a lot easier to go to work every day. You know, if you don't care for people that you're around, it's, you don't want to go in that locker room, you know, but these guys look forward to being together, and they're genuinely excited for each other.
Have you ever had a team like that you didn't look forward to going in the locker room?
If
I'm
I
not
did,
asking what team.
if I did, I'm trying to forget about them.
Lisa, when thinking back, or going back to the crowds, I'm sorry if you've been asked this before, but the Big Ten tournament is completely sold out, like all sessions, which is pretty nuts the first time.
Yeah.
It's a long way away from 2021 in Indianapolis when you had no one there.
Yeah.
What was your first reaction when you saw that news? And you've been talking about the big environments you've had, but does that put any additional pressure? Or do you think you're actually more prepared for environments like that?
Oh, I think we're prepared for environments like that. I was surprised when I heard that it was sold out. I don't know how many Iowa fans are going to be there. I would hope a great amount of them are Hawkeye fans. But you never know. You never know until you get there and see. But I'm very excited to get up there and see how much black and gold is. Hopefully we can turn it back into Carver North.
Lisa, right now you guys are kind of projected to be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Do you have a preference? Do you feel like getting a 1 seed is important, or is it kind of 1-2 just kind of the same when you start? I mean, you get a 3 seed or a 4 seed in the Sweet 16. It's kind of the same, right? Or do you have a preference?
No, I don't. You know, I just don't want to be the 5th overall seed, to be quite honest. I don't want to be that 2 seed because, I mean, that's a tough go. I think South Carolina's, you know, I mean, they're unbelievable right now. To go through the whole season again without a loss, and how much they're destroying teams by, it's really impressive. So you just don't want to have that one.
Wouldn't that be the 8th overall seed?
It would be the 8th. You're right. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah, you're right. It would be the 8th overall seed.
Lisa, going back
Thank
to
you.
Molly for a second, I don't know if it's like a Kate Martin situation where she's totally a coach on the floor, but when she's not playing, this week in particular, I know you said you haven't seen her in person since Sunday, but what does she bring, if anything, to the team when she's just being the encourager?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, Molly's not real boisterous. Molly is a person that doesn't say a lot, but when she says it, it's pretty meaningful. You know, she doesn't just babble. And so I think her being on the sidelines will be more very like talking to kids individually, talking to players individually as they come to the bench or into the huddle. She's not a person that's going to give a rah-rah speech or anything like that.